to our look at the top 10 reasons to not cruise, where we counter all of those reasons. Despite thousands, if not millions of people having a cruise as their preferred choice of holiday, there are always lots of people who are dead set against a cruise and will create lots of reasons why not. So many of those reasons are quite outlandish, and we hope that if you are interested in taking your first ever cruise, you will simply ignore them. But as with any type of travel, there are some legitimate concerns that people have before cruising. In this list, we take a look at 10 common concerns potential cruisers have and counter them with our own findings. As ever, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on notifications, as not only does it help us produce more content for you, but it makes sure you miss none of our cruise guides, top 10s, tips and advice videos. Also, why not leave a comment below and tell us of any excuses you have heard for people not wanting to cruise. So without further ado, let's have a look at the top 10 reasons to not cruise and what has been the actual reality we have found. This is something that often gets mentioned when talking to people who haven't cruised before, and one that can easily be countered. It is true that some cruise port areas are a long way from the city that they represent, but in those places a cruise line will often put on a free shuttle. In a majority of ports you can easily walk off the ship and head into the destination you have docked at and either explore on foot or use local public transit. If you are heading somewhere where the major attraction is some distance from the port location, you can easily book a trip with a local company and avoid the often inflated onboard prices of excursions. It is amazing that even on a full ship, there are always some quiet spots and areas where you can enjoy some peace and quiet. From places that you would expect, including libraries and lounges, to the top deck and the promenade deck, there are lots of places where you can always find a quiet place. Then there is your cabin, of course, where if you're lucky enough to have your own balcony, you can sit and watch the world go by with no interruptions. If you are an introvert, the thought of being on board a ship with thousands of other holidaymakers may seem daunting, but in our experience, it really needn't be. When my wife and I go on a cruise holiday, it is enjoy spending time together, and whilst we will exchange pleasantries with others, we keep ourselves to ourselves. For many people, the chance to explore and immerse themselves into a different culture is a great part of being on holiday, and that is something that seems difficult to do whilst on a cruise, as so many head to major tourist hotspots, and cruise lines also have a focus on busing as many people as possible to major attractions of a port. It does depend on the ports that you choose to visit, but many simply allow you to exit your ship and head off to do what you want in the way that you want. There is no requirement to do an excursion, and many ports are close to local metro systems, making it easy to explore on your own. When it comes to cruising, you often have a big upfront fee and then few costs while away on holiday, and that can make it seem more expensive than any other type of getaway. When you pay for your cruise, you are paying for your travel, your hotel, your entertainment, your meals, your drinks and more all up front, unlike a beach getaway or a city break, where you often pay for flight and hotel up front and then continue to spend whilst away. By the end of your holiday the costs are often around the same, but you have been able to see so much more than you usually would, and have had all of the benefit of a luxury resort on an all-inclusive basis. This is something that is sadly out of your control, and from time to time there will be issues that pop up, and a line will need to make a decision to miss a port. Sometimes it is for mechanical issues, sometimes down to bad weather, and sometimes it is for issues of the port itself, but no matter what, your captain will keep you informed, and usually you will go to a nearby port instead. This is a big problem for many cruisers and for the industry as a whole, as some ports see up to 6 or 7 cruise ships all dock at the same time, with a few thousand guests on board each who are all heading to the same attractions and sites of interest. That makes your whole day ashore seem rushed, and you are fighting with other guests to see and do what you have paid to enjoy. Thankfully, those sorts of ports are few and far between, and are mostly found in the cruising hotspots of the Caribbean and the Mediterranean, where most guests simply head for the nearest beach anyway. If you prefer a more relaxing time on shore, there are many ports where you can simply stroll off your ship and immerse yourself in your chosen destination. When you see the capacity of your ship being 4, 5 or even 6,000 passengers, you will likely think that you cannot have that many people on board and it not be crowded throughout. Nobody wants to be in a rush all holiday and have to queue to do everything on board, but it is true that this can be the onboard experience for some cruisers. The full capacity of a ship includes available bunk beds and convertible sofas, which are aimed at those cruising with children, so there are lots of options for avoiding crowded ships. That includes sailing outside of school holidays, choosing less family-friendly ships, and cruising to less touristy ports of call. If you have never been on a cruise ship or seen one up close, The thought of spending a day or two between ports on board a ship may seem daunting if you are not one for sitting still and relaxing, but it shouldn't be. The biggest ships nowadays truly are floating cities, where you have everything from shopping districts to entertainment districts, and from numerous restaurants to a great choice of bars. Cruise ship acts just the same as any beach resort or luxury resort, but you get to explore a whole new location most days of your getaway. We have found that rather than not having enough to do, you struggle to get everything done that you want to. But if you are still unsure, you can easily pick a port-intensive itinerary where all of your sailing happens at night. Whilst only you and your doctor will know the full status of your health, and if you have any concerns at all, you should consult your GP. If seasickness is just one of those what-ifs to worry about, it really shouldn't be. The thought of being ill on holiday is something to worry about for all of us, as nobody wants their getaway ruined, but the chances of getting seasick are relatively slim. There is also lots you can do to negate any worries, including picking a mid-level cabin in the middle to aft section of the ship where it tends to be sturdier. You can also sail when the weather should be best, such as summer, and avoid open ocean itineraries such as transatlantic ones. We would also recommend choosing a huge modern ship that are not just sturdier due to their size, but they also have advanced technologies to help stabilise your journey. So all that remains to be said is thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed our countering the top 10 reasons to not cruise, and see you next time.